Hi, welcome everyone. It is an important feature of the POSH Act that it envisages the settlement of disputes through a grievance redressal forum. Today, we have with us Advocate Pooja Sareen again, who is going to enlighten us on the defined complaint mechanism that is present in the POSH Act, where and how an aggrieved woman or an individual needs to file a complaint, who can file a complaint on her behalf, and certain other aspects such as malicious prosecution that are covered in the Act itself. We're glad to have you on board with us, ma'am, again. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure's
Ma'am,
all
so
mine.
we'll straightly, yes, ma'am. So we'll straightly go to the first question, ma'am. That is, who drafts the complaint or how the complaint needs to be written by the complainant?
Okay, it's a very simple method to be drafting a complaint. The complaint needs to be drafted, either it could be handwritten or it could be even typed in a Word format. The complainant needs to do that. In case the complainant is undergoing mental trauma, any mental condition, or any physical condition, even that prohibits her or restrains her from not submitting the complaint, then in that case, if she is not able to write on her own, then any of her legal heirs also could write the complaint on her behalf, which needs to be accepted by the IC or LC. In her heirs, it would be maybe her son, her daughter, her husband, maybe if she's unmarried, then her father, her mother, anyone who is able to write the complaint on her behalf. So much so that if she does not wants her legal heir to be writing it, she can also have the LC or IC members to be assisting her in writing the complaint. So
Okay, ma'am.
they can all write on her behalf. It is IC and LC's essential duty and responsibility to be helping the complainant to report or write her complaint.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, a follow-up to this question itself. What all needs to be there present while filing a complaint? What all are the contents of the following complaint that are required for it to be considered by the IC or the LC?
There are certain provisions in the law pertaining to this. The IC or the LC needs to see that the complaint is made within the 3 months of last incident. If it is a series of incidents, then the last occurred incident should be 3 months. Also, additionally, some time could be given by the IC to the complainant in case she is undergoing some psychological medication, she's undergoing some physical medication, then time could be extended. That is completely on the call of the IC, that is IC's call, right? The content has to be understandable by the IC. It is just like a normal complaint in which you definitely support it with various different annexures. It needs to be supported with all relevant incidences, starting from the very first incident of sexual harassment to the last incident of sexual harassment. It needs to be recorded properly while in writing, and it has to be annexed with relevant evidences. Evidences could be WhatsApp messages, it could be audio or video recording. When you say that you were sexually harassed, so when, why, how did you feel that? Did you feel that you were sexually harassed? You were sexually harassed at the workplace or maybe outside in some premises. So all the supporting documents need to be also annexed along with the complaint and have to be given to the IC so that IC records it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Now, moving forward to the next question is, what are the punishments for an offender who is found guilty by the IC? What all are the penalties that can be applied to them under the POSH Act?
So see, for example, if it is if the offender is found guilty, then or otherwise also, the Act very clearly states that while it is the interim, the investigation is on, the complaint has been made, and the final decision has not been given. So in that particular point of time, it has to be ensured that the complainant needs to be secluded. She either could be sent on leave, it would be a paid leave, or she could be relocated in any of the other offices, or the respondent also could be asked to be relocating to any other offices. So there are various reliefs, starting from this relief itself to other reliefs which are given. If one is found guilty, then one could be asked to relocate, the respondent could be demoted, or if there has been a loss of opportunity, then the respondent is asked to be making up for the same. Also, if there is a loss of any health or any physical or mental condition, then again the compensation is also asked for by the respondent. The compensation could be monetary as well. If the complainant has spent a lot of money on the medication or on medical bills or psychiatrist or other treatment, then it is the respondent's liability to be paying them. If the respondent cannot pay in one go, then there could be even bifurcation of that amount that needs to be paid by the respondent. So this act gives a lot of reliefs to the respondent and the complainant as well. We'll come to the respondent later, what all reliefs are there. That would be only in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
case of malicious complaints.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, just to follow up on this, an additional question. What if the complainant feels that the penalties that were given to the accused were not satisfactory or were not enough in her eyes? Is there any other relief, or is there any other platform or way that she can, go forward with it, apart from the IC and the LC?
So if both the parties, the respondent and the complainant, are not happy or not satisfied or content with the decision being made, if they're saying that the decision is not in their favor, they want further action on this, they can definitely reach out to the appeal. Appeal is a provision under Section 18 of the Act. So if they can move out to the court and they can appeal to the court, stating that that maybe there had been deficiencies in the process of IC, or there had been other provisions, so they have that option.
Okay, ma'am. Now, going to the other side of the coin, or the other side of the picture, that is the accused. What all reliefs does the accused have in the case where an individual who's the complainant tries to misuse the law for their own benefit or favor? What all reliefs can such an individual who has been accused of sexual harassment, in the point or where there is malicious prosecution, can he find or she find relief in?
See, we do have various different articles from Article 14 to 15 to 21 who give a lot of, who promise a lot of liberty and safeguards the right of women as is. Now, what was the need of this particular act was that women should be safeguarded at her workplace. There should not be any, vulgar or hostile work environment created against her, and she should be given the rights and privileges to be enjoying. She should get a promising environment, a progressive environment wherein she can live at her liberty and progress and work. So that is why this act came in place. Now, with any act or law coming in place, what generally happens is that there is an exploitation also. There are always two sides to it. At times, generally, at times females are genuinely exploited, and at times there is a possibility of maybe, and the most of it gets affected when the female and the male are having a relationship. Once it gets sour, the woman wants to revenge on the male, and she then frames him maliciously. So there have been a lot of examples, per se, to this. So, for example, I'll just cite one of the incidents here, right? And it had been an AGM level who was working in an organization, and a female who was much, she was reporting into somebody else, not even reporting to him, but a matter came up, and later on it was discovered, and discovered that she had reported a malicious complaint. Now, there are definitely punishments to the malicious complaints also. The woman could be asked to be leaving the organization. The women could be demoted. There could be a salary cut. She could be asked to relocate. So per the IC's decision, whatever they think is deemed fit, they can give they can punish as well.
Okay, ma'am. So just a little bit of a query on this. What is the extent of penalties the IC or the LC can assign to an individual that files a malicious complaint? To what degree can the complaint be, these penalties can be filed against malicious prosecutor?
Malicious prosecutors, see, basically these are all internal proceedings of any given organization, either a private or a public or a government sector. But these are all internal proceedings, right? So in internal proceedings, there are limitations also. You can demote a person, at the max, you can ask the person to be leaving the organization, right? So when it is found out that it's a malicious complaint, either she could be asked to be leaving the organization, that is the maximum of it, right? She could be fined as well. This is completely IC discretion as to what exactly is going to be the fine imposed on her. She could be fined as well. She could be demoted as well. She could be relocated, looking at the seriousness of her complaint.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering all our questions once again. With this, that was our last question. We thank you again for being part of this session. And we hope to continue this session for the individuals that see these videos to enlighten themselves and make themselves aware of the POSH Act and the several other requirements that are present in the Act itself and become aware. Thank you, ma'am, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you.